Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and I'm going to do some more cooking today. I wasn't planning to. I thought I'd just give everything a rest because my writing is still consuming all of my time. And then I thought, no, the stock pot with my Cambodian master stock in it has been working overtime, and I need to just add something to what I said originally. So let's go down that path. The master stock is about to come to a simmer. I've got it on my gas hob rather than the induction burner, which is where it normally is, for the sake of noise as much as anything else. It's on the propane burner now. Normally it's buzzing away on the induction burner, and I boil it maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes in the night, depending on what's happening. And the thing is, it's now a week old, and it's getting more complex, more rich, and I'm doing a lot of things with it every day. But right now, you'll see I've got a sieve in here because when I want to cook things in the master stock, I don't want to just put them directly into the stock, because then I've got to somehow fish them out. And there's aromatics and other things floating around in there, which I may not want to pull out, partly because they're old and they may not go with my dish or whatever. So I use a sieve, and in the marketplaces here in Phnom Penh, the vats of master stock are huge, and the sieves are more like long cones that they can place in the stock when needed. Sometimes they'll put meat or fish directly in the stock, and I have done that too. I boiled some salmon in here the other day, and I just put it straight in because it was one piece and I could put it in and then fish it out. But here, for example, you see I've got some cuttlefish balls, and they're going to be part of a noodle dish I'm making, and I don't want to be fishing around in the stock for them, so I'll put them in the sieve. And what they'll also do in the marketplace is they'll use a conical sieve to heat up noodles. Sometimes they're cellophane noodles. If they're cellophane noodles, you don't need to do much more than just heat them through. If they're egg noodles or rice noodles that need proper cooking, they'll cook them ahead of time, and they'll have a batch of them waiting beside the pot, so that when you come along and you say, I would like egg noodles and pork, then they'll take the parboiled noodles, put them in the stock, finish them off, add the pork and vegetables or whatever, and then turn it all out and then serve it to you. And that's what I'm going to do today. I don't have cellophane noodles or parboiled noodles, but I do have instant ramen, so I'm going to put that in the sieve. I'm going to let that cook through and then serve it up. Now, whilst I'm waiting for that to come back up to a simmer and for the ramen to cook, I'd just like to talk about aromatics a little more. The thing is that the master stock doesn't just keep going on its own, obviously, because you take parts of it out when you make a broth or a soup or a stew or whatever, and so you have to add back water, and over time it's going to get diluted, so you need to add back aromatics too. And the standards that I use, as I showed you in my previous video, are things like kaffir leaves, galangal, ginger, garlic, turmeric root, and so forth. What I didn't mention at the time, because I didn't have it, but I have it now, is shrimp paste. Shrimp paste has got various names in different parts of Southeast Asia. I usually use the Indonesian word belacan, and it's very common throughout both mainland Southeast Asia and Indonesia, even the Philippines, and it's got a very distinctive smell, not very pleasant according to some people. That if you want to get rid of your neighbors, then you start cooking with belacan. But you don't use a lot, and it does add a very distinctive flavor to broths. One of my favorite soups of all time is the Javanese soup soto ayam, which is essentially means chicken soup. But it's a very special chicken soup, and belacan is one of the main basic ingredients. So over the week, I've added some belacan to the pot. I've also added some more galangal, turmeric, kaffir leaves, lemongrass, and so forth. So every time I pull stock out, I put water back in, and I add some more aromatics. And I'll also be cooking meat and fish right in the broth, so that it's just constantly getting richer and richer. So now you can see that the broth is starting to come up to a simmer, and it won't take very long, just a few minutes, for the ramen to cook. So I'm just gonna break it up so that it'll cook as quickly as possible. And you can see I've got some fish balls with it. I could add some vegetables at this point if I wanted to, but I'm not particularly in the mood for it. For example, I could add some mushrooms. I've got some beautiful Asian mushrooms of different sorts. But for the moment, I'm just going to let the ramen cook, and then I'll serve it. And you'll see when I serve it that you should really add some dishes of soy sauce or fish sauce or some dipping sauce or other as a complement. Let's just let this boil, and then I'll show you the results. So here we have the plated up soup ready to eat. You can see I've got the ramen, the cuttlefish balls, the broth, and I've added a little garnish of green peppers, and then over here is my dipping sauce. It's actually a tonkatsu sauce, so it's a little bit of an Asian fusion. And I've got some new chopsticks which I just bought 10 pairs, not sure why, but there they are. So here's my meal of the day using my master stock, and I'll be back on Friday talking a little bit more about Carnival, I think. Not sure yet, but enjoy your week, and maybe one or two of you will actually get round to making a master stock. Who knows?